Bitcoin's third halving just took place. This event has been awaited for months by everyone in the Bitcoin world, and has come to the forefront from mid-April 2020 as clearly shown by the analysis of the search volumes for the term Bitcoin halving on Google. As always, the halving was a great marketing campaign for Bitcoin. The increased media coverage saw new people coming into the Bitcoin world. These people have so far simply put one foot in this world, as many of them have remained at the stage of high interest without taking action by buying their first Bitcoins. If you are in that situation where you are still hesitating to buy your first Bitcoins, I will explain 5 things that could tip the balance. My goal is to help you make the best decision for your future. From my point of view, the best decision is buying Bitcoin, but that's still my opinion. You need to come to this conclusion on your own before you act. So here are a few things to add to your thinking. 1. Everyone thinks it is too late for buying Bitcoin. I often hear people tell me that they are interested in Bitcoin, but think they have missed the right opportunity. These people regret not having bought Bitcoin when it was still worth $100 in mid-2013. They also regret having missed the opportunity to buy Bitcoin in 2016 when it was around $600. The people I'm talking about are probably the ones who gave in to the FOMO sentiment that had formed at the end of 2017. They must have bought Bitcoin when its price was over $15,000. Lacking knowledge about why Bitcoin was created, and de facto confidence in its revolution, they then had to give in to panic in 2018 by selling all their Bitcoins when its price dropped sharply to under $3,500 at the end of this year. Today, they hesitate again, thinking that with a $9,000 Bitcoin, they missed the mark in mid-March when Bitcoin price fell to around $3,800 following its Black Thursday. The essential thing to understand about Bitcoin is that everyone thinks they are too late. If you are waiting for the perfect time to buy Bitcoin, you will be waiting a long time. Indeed, it is a utopia. The perfect time is the one you choose to take action. Rather than waiting forever, you should take action by buying Bitcoin. This will allow you to truly enter this world, and will help you learn more than any book or article you can read. 2. You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. At the time of writing, Bitcoin price is $9,600. Some people say they would like to buy it, but with such a high price, they simply cannot afford it. These people lack basic knowledge about Bitcoin, and that's why a reminder is needed. Bitcoin is divisible up to 8 digits after the decimal point. The smallest subdivision of Bitcoin is called the Satoshi. A Satoshi is worth 0.00000001 BTC. So you can start buying Bitcoin from 1 Satoshi. This great divisibility of Bitcoin is one of its many advantages that make it a far better store of value for the masses than gold. The stacking sats movement has been growing in the community throughout 2019 to highlight the importance of thinking in sat when you want to accumulate Bitcoin but have a limited budget. Remember what Lao Tzu said. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Your journey to owning 1 full Bitcoin begins with a simple first step, which is the purchase of 1 Satoshi. By accumulating Satoshi daily, you will reach this goal sooner or later. In the future, when talking in sat will be the norm, you will thank the people who started this stacking sats movement in the community. Finally, I'm going to tell you some good news. If you already own 0.01 BTC, you are already a millionaire with Bitcoin. Indeed, that is 1 million Satoshis. You have to change your way of thinking to adopt Bitcoin codes, which is a total paradigm shift. 3. Smooth your costs with a DCA strategy. The idea behind the stacking sats movement is also to be consistent in your Bitcoin purchases. Great successes are built day after day through willpower and patience. With Bitcoin, patience is always rewarded. A good strategy to accumulate as many Bitcoins as possible, while smoothing your costs, is dollar cost averaging, DCA strategy. This means buying Bitcoin every month with a fixed amount of fiat currency. By doing so, you will slowly but surely get closer to the goal of owning at least 1 full Bitcoin. If you fundamentally believe in Bitcoin, you will be able to become a Bitcoin hodler. You will be able to keep your Bitcoins no matter what. Even better, you will take advantage of its price reductions to accumulate more. To do this, I advise you to always keep some cash on hand so that you can grab any bargains that may come your way. We had the recent example in March 2020 when Bitcoin price fell below $4,000. All the Bitcoiners took the opportunity to accumulate more. It's up to you to be ready for those always advantageous moments when you fundamentally believe in Bitcoin. 4. Time in the market beats timing the market. Bitcoin is a relatively young market. With only a little over 11 years of existence, it is normal that Bitcoin price can still be extremely volatile. Bitcoin's volatility can be your best ally, or your greatest enemy. It is up to you to use Bitcoin's volatility to your advantage. The best solution in my opinion is to be a Bitcoin hodler. To do so, you will need to really believe in Bitcoin. This means keeping your peace of mind when Bitcoin drops below $4,000 and loses 50% of its value in one day as it did on Bitcoin Black Thursday in March 2020. These special moments should be seen as a unique opportunity to accumulate more and more Bitcoin. 5. Be a Bitcoin hodler rather than a Bitcoin trader. This last point is an extension of point number 4. In Bitcoin world, there are two categories of people, hodlers and traders. For me, Bitcoin hodlers have an essential advantage over Bitcoin traders. The Bitcoin hodler has total confidence in Bitcoin, which allows him to be much more zen. The Bitcoiner supports Bitcoin over time what it takes. A Bitcoiner stays on the market as long as possible by simply trying to accumulate more and more Bitcoins, while taking care to keep them safe on a hardware wallet. The trader will waste a lot of time trying to get into the market and the best timing to make frequent purchase/sales. If some manage to make big profits this way, they are a minority. As a beginner with Bitcoin, this strategy will prove to be a losing strategy for you. Bitcoin's volatility will then probably become your worst enemy, and you will be permanently stressed looking frantically at Bitcoin price. The best thing you can do is to become a Bitcoin hodler. This simple strategy will prove to be terribly effective. It will allow you to be rewarded in the future when the Bitcoin revolution reaches its full potential. Also, you have been investing in the traditional financial markets for several years now. You are not an expert, but you are beginning to get to know them. For a few months now, you have been reading up on Bitcoin. You have read the Bitcoin white paper published by Satoshi Nakamoto on October 31, 2008. Discovering that the complete functioning of a peer-to-peer electronic cash payment system could be described in only 9 pages left you in shock. Indeed, the monetary and financial system has always seemed too complex to you. You have never been able to discover its inner workings in depth. I can reassure you that you are in the same situation as many people. To tell the truth, the problem is not with you, but with the monetary and financial system, which is much more complex than it should be. In fact, everyone should be able to understand how it works without having to spend countless hours on the internet searching for articles and books on the subject. Bitcoin already fixes this first flaw, and it's already appealing to you. You have understood the advantages of Bitcoin. You understand, for example, that Bitcoin is a real paradigm shift that gives power back to its users since it has no leaders and belongs to everyone. Bitcoin has a unique quantitative hardening monetary policy, which is the opposite of the quantitative easing practiced by central banks such as the Fed. With its monetary policy, Bitcoin makes sense to save your money. Indeed, keeping your Bitcoins over time makes them more valuable. Bitcoin is therefore an ideal store of value. Objectively, Bitcoin has many advantages over a more established store of value such as gold: better divisibility, portability, durability, recognizability, and even greater scarcity. Bitcoin is therefore a perfect hedge against the currency devaluation we will experience in the coming months following the decisions of the Fed and other central banks to print fiat money almost ad infinitum. In any case, this is what the Fed has announced it will be able to do in March 2020. All the decisions taken by the central banks and governments of the major economic powers to try saving the current monetary and financial system at all costs leave you doubtful. Your interest in Bitcoin has never been higher than it is now. Moreover, Bitcoin third halving, which is coming in less than 5 days now, seems to be an awesome moment to take action by buying Bitcoin. The reasons given by people who always prefer to wait a little longer before taking action are multiple, and they all relate to the same psychological problem: the fear of failure. In life, you should know that you will never get a reward if you don't dare to take action. If you always stay on the platform of the station and watch the trains go by, you will never be on the train when a revolution takes place. Bitcoin is a revolution. Its train is passing by. Bitcoin is still in its early stages as evidenced by its market capitalization of just $170 billion. That's already huge in just 11 years of existence. However, this is nothing compared to what Bitcoin can accomplish in the future. Now that you have understood why Bitcoin exists, you will have to overcome this fear of failure by taking action. In practical terms, this means buying your first Bitcoins. It's time to take the plunge. The advantage of Bitcoin is that it is divisible to 8 decimal places. So you can start buying Bitcoin with a very small amount of fiat money such as $100. The first requirement you will need to fulfill is to create an account on a trading platform such as Coinbase, Binance, or Kraken. This will allow you to exchange your fiat money for Bitcoin. The second requirement is to purchase a hardware wallet to secure your Bitcoins. This step will allow you to apply what you have learned about securing your Bitcoins. not your keys, not your bitcoins. As soon as you have exchanged your fiat currency for Bitcoin on Coinbase or Binance, you will be able to make a Bitcoin transaction allowing you to send your Bitcoins to your hardware wallet. To perform these steps, you will need to practice what you have already learned about Bitcoin, and probably look for additional information. It will be much more profitable for you to do this research for immediate real use. By doing so, I am sure you will remember everything you have done. There is nothing better in life than to take action and practice to progress and learn new things. Your learning will be far from over, because you never stop learning as you become a Bitcoiner. This is one of the great qualities of all Bitcoiners, the desire to learn more and more in order to understand how things really work. Having made the decision to take action has allowed you to take the first step towards becoming a Bitcoiner. Of course, there is still a long way to go, but in a few minutes you will have learned as much as if you had read articles and books for several hours. Afterwards, you will still be able to take stock of your situation after a week, for example. It will then be time to decide whether you choose to continue the adventure in the Bitcoin world, or whether you prefer to leave it at that, because you think Bitcoin is not for you. Since you have only committed $100, or even less if you wanted to, it won't make much of a difference to your personal financial situation. However, you will have taken a big step in your life. By finally taking action and buying Bitcoin, you will now know if you want to get on the Bitcoin revolution train.